Okay, so there's lots of ways to play a chord sequence. You can strum it, you can pick down it, and you can do some like little folk picking type thing. But there's another way to play chords, and that's something called a root and fifth, and it's normally played by the bass player, but obviously if you've got no bass player you can do it on acoustic. It's quite a popular thing to do on acoustic. It sounds a bit like this. And it gives you sort of that plodding along old country feel. And what it is when you've got a major scale like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you go the fifth of the scale, that's your 5 note. So your 1 is your root. So when you see root and fifth, it's your first note of the scale to the 5 note. And that's what gives you that feel. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you all 5 shapes, because you've only got 5 shapes with the open chords. That's C, A, G, E and D. And I'm going to show you how to treat each one of them to get your fifth in there. So your root and then your fifth to get this feel. Now I'm going to show you with the major shapes, but you can minor these and then you can stick the root and fifth on it and it's exactly the same note. So this is what we're looking at. If you notice this little bit down here, it says the green circle is the root of the chord and the red one's the fifth. So you wouldn't really, when you're doing this style, I know there's no rules to anything, you can break any rules, but if you start on the fifth to the first, you don't get the same feel. Like, sounds kind of a bit upside down. So when you're starting out, just do the root. You can see that sounds a bit more pleasant on the ears. So we're just going to learn it as the root, so the green, then the red. So we'll learn it on the first chord we'll do is C. So in this you can see the C major chord here, can't you? So your first finger's down there on the second string. And in green, your third finger's here. And then you're going to be actively moving it to the string above, to the G note there, the red. So you're going to go green, red, green, red. So I'll show you what that means. So C's here. Here's your green on the fifth string, and it moves up to the red. So just practice that motion. So fifth string, sixth string, fifth, sixth. And that's your root and fifth on C. So now I've got the rest of the chord on, so you could go. So very simply, you could just do down, so root, chord, root. If you want to be a tiny bit more interesting, you can do extra things with the actual strumming. So there I'm going down, up, in between instead of down. If you're doing quick like that works quite nice. So that's a down, up. And you could do some added little bass notes in between if you know the scale, but I'm just going to keep it straightforward to the root and fifth. That might be something that I add in a later video, how to do passing bass notes, and then you can incorporate into this. So now that works with any type of chord you want to put into this situation. So like a C7 there, see my little fingers on the third string. Or C major 7. Now most people don't play a C minor here because it's a bit impractical. There's a C minor 7. It's not very practical. You'd normally come to the C minor here, which is from from the A shape. Okay, so that's the C shape. If you're liking the videos that I'm doing, if you could please subscribe, it does help me to continue making more videos like this. And I do appreciate all the comments people make, so thank you very much. We're going to have a look at we'll do it in order of cage. So anything to do with the A shape, it's the same bass notes as the C shape. So you can see here the open A is the 5th string, and you've got two options of the root and 5th here. So see the two red ones, you've got potential options are there. So I'm going to focus on this option where you hit this, the root here on the 5th string to the 4th string of the chord being placed on. So you got your A, my root's going to be on the 5th, and your finger's already in place there with the 5th note of the scale. So when I say 5th string, 4th string, 5th string, root, 5th, root, 5th. Now sometimes going to the 5th on this 4th string can sound a bit weak. So you've actually got this note is the same as this note. So even though it's below it, it still works as a root and 5th feel. So, and that seems a lot more meatier. Now you might want to just, if you're finding trying to hit the exact string right, a good tip is just to use your thumb, and then your thumb just has to alternate between two strings. That's easier than trying to pick it out with your plectrum like I was doing. So, and you get the down up high with your fingers. So the other E, so the E is the 5th of the chord, the lower E. You might want to just alternate between them and make it sound a bit different throughout the sequence. Okay, so you can try that on an A minor, A major 7, A minor 7, just A7. So all them chords lend themselves nice to that open chords with all them. Okay, so let's go straight to the G. I don't think that made any sense what I just said. So your root is on the top string here, and your 5th is on the open 4th string here. So let's just get the root and 5th. So 6th string, 4th string. So get a G on, it could be any type of G. It does sound really nice with the G chord, better than the E and the A. With a plectrum. Bit harder to get that jump with your plectrum. Okay, so let's go to the E shape. Here we go, so just an E major. Oh, before we move on, we could do a G7 shape with that. That lends itself nicely. So that lends itself nicely to the root and 5th. Okay, so E. So you can see your E chord, your root is on the top string, the 6th string, and your 5th is on the 5th string there, 2nd fret. So let's get the root and the 5th. So you're just keeping that there, you don't have to do anything with this. So root, 5th, root. So the 6th string, 5th string. So root. What I'll do is I'll do a bunch of songs that link all these techniques together. So I'll to put it into practice. So this is rather like just an exercise, getting used to what a root and fifth is and applying it to every chord. So I will do some songs like I'm sure I do Ring of Fire. Love is a burning flame. So yeah, look out for them. Alright, so E, you could do an E7. If I use my thumb. E minor. Not forget the E minor, probably the first chord you ever played, like most people. Okay, and the last shape is the D shape. So this is the thinnest sounding shape really, because obviously your root's on the 4th string, it's not the deepest of notes. But you've got two options just like you do on the A. You've got the option with the root above and the option with the root below, the 5th below, sorry. Okay, so the root's on the 4th string, which is here, and the root above is on the 3rd string. So you got this. It sounds kind of weak, because by the time you've done the 5th, the only 2 notes you've got are the 1st and 2nd. So you got the root and then the open A string below it. Try it with a pleck, it cuts through a bit more. So D minor, same root and 5th, D major 7. D7. Okay, so the reason why the 5th works on all these, because they all have a natural 5th in all these chords. The only one that doesn't of your basic chords is your diminished chord. It has a minor 3rd and a minor 5th in the chord, so you would have to adapt to that. If you come across a diminished chord, you won't be able to play the perfect 5th. If that just went over everyone's head, then sorry about that. But there's the odd person who wants to know what to do with a flat 5 chord. So okay, so that's all your 5 shapes. I'd say just practice them, and one at a time. So say you're on D and you're practicing that, practice it with a D minor. Every type of D, you know, D minor 7, D7, D major 7. So all the types of each shape I'd practice with, and I'm going to link in with this with a bit of a song and just tie it together. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope it's very informative. It's a nice way to play guitar. It sounds really great. Thank you. Bye.